Sanjeev Sanyal. The NPA worries are now behind us and we are on the path of recovery. That's the word coming in from Principal Economic Advisor Sanjeev Sanyal.
If we begin to create separate frameworks for every single sector, it will very quickly get very complicated. However, there are certain special requirements of the power sector, which feeds through to, of course, enforcement of contracts, for example, with the state distribution companies, and many other longer-term issues that power sector has had to deal with. So the matter is being considered, and a reasonable response will be made. And in the end, it's a trade-off. We all understand that. So a reasonable trade-off will be made.
You know, when you're saying a reasonable trade-off will be made, you're also saying a special program or an assistance is something that we could probably look at.
We are looking at it. We have not, the decision has not, as far as I know, has been taken.
The chief economic advisor in one of the economic surveys also said that once you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, no matter however difficult, must be the solution. Is this the solution, a bad bank?
Well, when we went down this particular path last year, at that time as well, a bad bank was mooted. And at that time, the decision was taken that to go down a certain path and use the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. And of course, that process, we identified some 50-odd cases. The first 12 of those cases were then taken through the insolvency process, and they are now coming to the end of their 180 plus 90 day deadline, and we are now seeing the auctions and so on. However, there is again been some discussion of whether or not, while this may be the correct way to deal with the 50 largest cases, for the larger pool of cases, whether we need to create a bad bank. And this discussion has gone back and forth again. So a committee has been formed to look into it. As I said, we are open-minded about what should be done.
So let me ask you, if the government is talking about a bad bank, where will the funds really come from? Because that was the issue that we were dealing with last year also. Has the government thought about it, whether it will be through government securities or equity?
So we did it in a certain way so far. Now we will wait for the committee to say what it does, and then we'll consider it.
A lot of experts are saying that instead of having a bad bank, why not recapitalize the PSU banks in the first place?
If you want, I mean, even if you create a bad bank, you'll have to provide money back to the banks at some valuation, and that will be a form of recapitalization. So yes, any case you will need to put some money aside, and how you finance it will have to be thought through. So one could argue that is the direct approach should be the better way. So that is an option, and as I said, the committee may, for all we know, this may be what the committee may conclude.
So apart from the 2.11 lakh crore rupees that the government has already earmarked, could we look at higher recapitalization for PSU banks?
So if necessary, yes. But as I said, we are also, remember, getting money back as we auction. So it's not that we are not getting some monies back from all of this. And by the way, it's not just the auctions. There has been a general improvement in credit culture. So in that environment, it's not so that no credit is flowing and no capital is getting to. There are problems with specific areas, particularly for MSMEs. We do need to pay some special attention. There may be issues, as you pointed out, with the power sector where we need to look at it. But on the whole, we are on the other side of the hump.
Okay, that's a rather positive way to look at it. Let me ask you, is the government actively now looking at mergers and consolidation in the banking space?
See, one important thing you have to know is that this story of consolidation and merger is a second-order solution. The first-order attention for policymakers is to clean up the banks, get this NCLT process going, recapitalize them, get them to lend again, particularly to target sectors like MSMEs. That is first priority. This business of mergers, consolidation, etc., yes, this is a longer-term thing that we need to think about, particularly since one can argue that there are perhaps too many public sector banks. There may be benefit from merging some of them and so on. But I would like to be absolutely clear that this will be done on commercial grounds, and as and when it makes sense commercially to do it, and these institutions are ready for it.